So today in the mail, I received my Hansshow full width Starlink LED taillights, which I'm super excited about installing. And I'm just at my trailer right now and having a little campfire because why not? And we're gonna open up these boxes and take a look inside and check out the build quality and probably do the install tomorrow when it's a little bit warmer and sunny. But for now, let's take a peek. All right, so let's open it up. This box would, I presume, be the light bar. And looks like it's nicely foamed, which is good. That way it doesn't get damaged. And then it's got this on it as well. Usually one end's open. So this goes in between the lights, and on the back side of it, it's got the 3M tape, which is good, and a couple connectors to give it some power. And on the front, it's got this kind of smoked appearance on it, which is so that way it's, some people like to tint their tail lights so that way when they're not illuminated they look dark, and that's kind of what the smoked feature does, which is kind of cool. So we'll set this aside and take a look at the actual lights themselves and see how they look. And we'll just be careful not to puncture too deep because you never know how they pack things. Usually they pack it really, really well. And make sure you guys stick around the end of the video because there is a discount code if you guys are going to order this so you can save some money. I'll give that to you guys a bit later. So again, foam on top, which is good to protect it. An instruction manual that they provide, which I probably really won't go through too much. I'll take a quick read of it, but in all likelihood I'll just do it my way and walk you guys through that. I think it'll be a pretty straightforward install. So in here has one of the tail lights. So this must be the back right because you have this little pointed part here, and then again I think you can see it's kind of got that smoked finish, so it's not bright red, although you can still see it. And then the other one, which would be the same but reversed. Yeah, so this would be the left side, and on the back you have your two these pins, I guess, that would go in, and then your 8mm connectors. I guess you would, yeah, an 8mm nut that you can use a socket to tighten that up. And then what else do we have? I guess this would probably be for the actual tailgate part when it lifts up, as well as you can see again it's got that smoked finish, and then this part kind of extrudes on it where the light bar will connect to, so that way you get that nice uniform joint, I suppose. And then in here, what else do we have? The other one, which I don't need to show you guys. Looks like we got some zip ties in here and adhesive promoter, which will be for the light bar. So after I clean the car really, really well, I'll put the adhesive promoter on it before I stick it to it. And then we have some wire harnesses, and I'll figure out which is which, but it looks pretty straightforward. I don't think you can plug them in the wrong one. And this is the longer one, so I assume this is the one that's going to go up the tailgate and into the lights, so you'll have to fish this. And I'm hoping that I can do mine differently than the other videos, and I think I should be able to play with this, because in the other videos they pulled up the gasket around the trunk and then they just kind of put the wire under it and then zip tied it through to the conduit and then up inside the tailgate. I would like to try and fish it from inside the trunk through the conduit and into the tailgate, just like when I installed the automatic tailgate, I did that, so it's a nice clean install. Hopefully I can get this through there. Might be tricky because there's a couple different wires here, so it might not even be possible, but I'm gonna play around and see if it's doable. And if it is, that is definitely the route I'd rather take for just a cleaner install. So I'm gonna put this away, and then I will be back probably tomorrow when it's warmer and sunny, and we'll get started on the install. Okay, so what I'm doing here is kind of like a trial, laying out the wires just to see how everything goes. And I'm wondering if they made some improvements to the setup, because prior, well, maybe not prior, but in some of the instructions, it looks like you have to fish either like this wire or this one through the back of the trunk and up through the conduit, or cable tie it to the conduit. But I don't see how that is even possible, because this wire here is essentially identical to this one, except for this one's longer. The connectors are the exact same. So this is your left tail light, and clearly you go white to white, black to black, and this will go to the original light. And same on the other side. Then for the trunk tail lights, you have the light bar here, and this cord clearly goes here. And then this would be for your main, where the light originally connects, and then same thing, white to white, black to black, with this long one here. But one thing I noticed is this can come off, and then I have this extra wire, which conveniently fits in here. So I'm guessing, and I won't know until I rip it apart, that depending on what year you have, the lights could be different with the connectors. So you have an option to either use this one, which has 2 pins, and then this one that has 3 pins. So anyway, so these two lights connect to each other with the light bar. Stop it, dog. And there's no option to run any wire up through the trunk. It just literally looks like plug and play, which, if that's the case, that's fantastic. That's best case scenario. The instructions don't indicate that, but that's not really that uncommon. Doing some of these installs, I've found sometimes you'll get instructions that aren't necessarily obsolete. Don't mind my little puppies here. I have 4 puppies left. Yep, we're going off topic here, showing some puppies, because puppies make everything better. They're 8 weeks old in 2 days. Look at you, cuties. I know. No, you can't install this thing. Oh, I know, you're cute. So anyway, yeah, I'm just staying at my trailer right now, and I'm doing my install. So I'm gonna go with this, because it looks like they must have improved something, because if this connects to this, and there's no extra connector to run a main cable, and then same with the other side, there's nothing extra. And then the light bar has this cord which goes to the trunk, and then it's just a matter of connecting in between them. I don't see any other way. So let's hope that's the case and they didn't send me a wrong part or forget to send a wire. I've had that happen before too, where they forgot to send something or something's incorrect. So I guess I'm gonna find out. Okay, so I've opened up the trunk. Don't mind, I have a few bags, and I have a wire that I use for fishing. And what I was talking about is feeding and fishing the wire up through this conduit here, which I've done before. It's really not as terrible as you think. I did that when I installed the automatic lift gate. So hopefully I don't have to do that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this here, so that way I can access, well, it has to come off anyway. And then I guess I got to get my light in here so that way we can see better. I'll have to pull this gasket back here so I can pull the carpet back, and then there'll be 2 nuts that I'll use my 8mm to access. I'm pretty sure there is a push pin in here that I might need to take out as well near the light, so that way I can access this. But I'm actually going to go grab a light so I can see a little bit better, and I guess I'm just going to get started and see how this goes. So yeah, so now I have a little bit of a light in here so I can see. So you can actually see I have a wire hanging down here. That's how I hit it. It was across here going for the tailgate, the automatic. So yeah, you just can kind of pull this up just a little bit, pop the push pin off here, and I'm not even going to take it off. Just going to let it kind of hang. It'll be fine. Then you just pull this back just a little bit, and let me tilt my light so you guys can probably see a bit. So right in here, let's see if I can get it with the camera. So yeah, there's one right there. I'm touching it, and then the other one is, let me zoom out. It's right there as well, and then the main light is right here. So we'll just unhook that. So what I'll do is put my 8mm on it, pull it out, and I will be back. You don't really need to watch me do that, I don't think. Okay, so I had to get some like channel locks here to loosen mine up here. These guys here. On the Model Y, I think it just pops out, but on Model 3, it just threads out. And then, as I said, I'm gonna disconnect the wire and take these nuts off. And then when I pull the light out, should be loosen up on here. But you notice the little, kind of like a little pointy part here. So you don't, I guess you don't want to pull it from this way. You would want to grab it from this side and pull it straight so you don't snap that off. Should you ever need to revert, the last thing you want to do is break this. Because they're kind of expensive, these lights. It's not just a bulb, it's an actual LED, and they're about $550 Canadian, which I recently got a quote from Tesla just for one, because my right side, not only does it have that stupid condensation problem, which is just ridiculous, which is probably the root cause of everything. You can kind of see it's like pooled in the corner, at least I think. But this LED is just dying. It barely works. So this should solve that as well. But unless these fail, I don't plan on reverting. So I'm gonna go ahead, loosen this, pull it off. And I imagine it'll be filthy underneath, so I might as well clean it up while I'm at it. Okay, so for this here, yeah, I think you can kind of see, is you this clip red part has to go that way. So you just kind of pull it out. As you can see, it goes in, and then you should just be able to wiggle it to get it out, I think. Let me take a look. I'm not sure if you can really see this, but I will try my best. I'll probably need 2 hands. It's really hard to do. So yeah, I'm just gonna grab it and hold it and then kind of wiggle it. 2 hands is better. All right, I'm not sure if I can do this with 1 hand, but I'm gonna try. So I'm just gonna pull. Oh yeah, I can. And then it should just kind of lift right up. Should. Yep, okay, so it pulls right out. So yeah, it's filthy in there. It's all kinds of crap. So I'm gonna clean that up. You don't need to watch me do that. Okay, so pretty decent. Rags dirty. So now I'm gonna do the exact same thing on this side. Take out the light, clean up underneath, and then I'm gonna put the new light in, and we're gonna go from there. One thing to remember is I 3D printed one of these little hooks that you can hang bags on. It actually works all right. It's not amazing, but it works fine. Probably take that off, and right there's a push pin. That's it. So that has to come out. So I guess this thing will come down. So I'll do that and then do the same thing. I will show you, but right here is my Satonic, the control box and all the wires when I did the automatic tailgate. I just stuck it to the metal thing here. And these 8mm bolts, nuts I should say, they really aren't very tight. in here, so there's definitely going to be no need to over tighten them. You barely have to put any pressure on the socket wrench when you're loosening them, so keep that in mind. No need to over tighten. On this side, since you can't open this up because there's no charge port, what I did is I put this guy in to start prying, because you can't get your fingers in there to pull it out like the other side. So that got it started, and then I should be able to pull it out. Same thing, it's filthy. I'll tidy that up. And looks like the gasket came off on both sides. I guess watch for that. That gasket should be going there, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I gotta check the other light and the Hansshow lights and see if it has a gasket. If not, I'm going to transfer it. But first, I'm gonna tidy that up as well. Okay, so I took the longer wire, which is the same as the shorter wire, and I think this is what I'm gonna do. Is originally I thought I would wire it and just run it along the bottom here, which would be easy to conceal. But since I had to take that plastic piece off anyway, I might as well just hide the wire in that. So I'll run the wire up and around across to the other one, which, I mean, why not, since it's already off, and go from there. So it should be pretty straightforward. I meant to bring the light with me. I'm gonna go grab them both, and then it should be as simple as the back of the light, black to black, white to white, and they all have to go through here and the into the Tesla connector. So that's what we're gonna do. I will be right back and we'll get started on that. Okay, so checking the Hansshow one, it does have a gasket on here. It's actually a rubber one, unlike the foam on the OEM one, and it looks a lot better quality. Yeah, because on here, that's just like a foam kind of rubber. Not sure if it's foam or rubber. It's kind of like a mixture, whereas this is just nice rubber. So this is my left one, and we're gonna run the cable through there first, because that is definitely going to be easier. And then we'll connect them, tighten up the bolts. We don't have to go too tight. We have these little pins here, which should snap right in there, or pop in, I guess. And I'll be back shortly. Okay, so ran them through, got it in there pretty snug, and then it's always so hard to do this stuff with one hand, especially when you're trying to film. You're trying to look through the camera to see if you're even showing stuff. A lot of times you aren't, and you're like, oh crap. And then that is usually a problem. Like in this case here, I can't I can't get this with one hand, so I gotta set you down. Okay, so I found that putting the left one in on mine was actually quite difficult, because the charge port here, this part kind of has to go in a groove here, which on the OEM one, there's a really big groove. On this one, not so much. So I had to fiddle this for a while. So it's good now, but I would wiggle it and it would just pop right out. So this actually took a lot of pushing on it. The right side, no problem, easy peasy. Anyway, we're gonna move on. So now I have them in place, they're secure, they're not going anywhere. So then I'm gonna take my long wire, go white to white, black to black here, and then run it across here and let it hang. Then we're gonna take off the lift gate. So we have to be careful when we take this off, because since I have the button here, there's gonna be a wire. So I don't wanna just let this fall. I'll probably disconnect the wire, make it easier. Okay, next we're gonna take this off. So I'm gonna start in the corner and use the pry. I should just be able to pull it off, and hopefully it comes out just okay. You can almost just pull it right down. I've been doing this before, and gotta be careful around the button. There is a wire, so let's carefully go around here. Just be careful. Oh shit. Push the button. Do that. Need some light in here. Give me a sec. Okay. That should do it. So I'm just gonna actually set this aside up here, and it actually should be okay. Hopefully that's not too much tension. And just check everything, make sure we're okay. Those wires down there, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, those are the tough ones. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take this guy out. So I'm gonna move my light in here, push this up, and so let's film in here. So the connector is right here for the light itself, and then there's a 8mm socket in here too. So I'm gonna disconnect those. So the same thing, you pull this back, which is sometimes you need like something to pull it like that. Then let me set my light down. And it just comes right out. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side and take the socket out. So my socket is right here. I should be able to just do the rest by hand. You don't want to drop these because they're just tiny little suckers. Going to set it down here, and then I think what I need to do, there'll be push pins on this side most likely. So what I'll do is I'll put the pry tool, and I should be able to, I think, just pop them out hopefully. Bring it around a little. Let me just double check that there's not like a second screw. I don't think there is. I think it's just the one right there. And then, okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. Pry it out. Okay, I'm just going kind of easy on it. There we go. And then it should just pull right out. Yeah. And then again, you see with the light, there's the gasket on it. It's kind of like a foam gasket. So I will do the same as before, and it's probably filthy underneath here. So I'm just gonna clean that right in here. You see it's all dirty, so I'll get that. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side, and then we'll put the new light in and start running the wires. Okay, so earlier I was saying that there's an extra cable, and I know what it's for. You definitely on the Model 3 have to take this off. That's not needed. And then you connect it right here now. So this guy goes in there, right there. And then this will go into the connector up here, because that doesn't fit in the one that was originally on it. So that must be for the Model Y. So what I'm gonna do then is, I guess I'm gonna have to disconnect this and then run these wires. Shoot, that wrong one. I guess I gotta do the same thing here though. So disconnect that, and so then this guy. Oh no, I had it right. I'm losing my mind. All right, so might be a little harder to see, but I'm gonna have to run these wires through here, which isn't gonna be terrible. You just gotta fiddle a little bit to get those through, and then I'm just gonna kind of rest it for now. It shouldn't go anywhere, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side over here, which I should have this on the tripod. Okay, so you're blocking the light. You're standing in front of the light. Okay, set this temporarily there because we also are going to have to run and mount the light bar, and the light bar has to go in through there like that, but this cord also has to go through there. So we'll pull this back and just, I'm going to stand here with my body and run this cord through that hole. So that way it goes through there. And with this, I'm going to run the cord in between the 3M tape. And if you look here, there's, you're standing in the light. There's a little groove here, so I'm going to try and run it like that. So what I have to do, I'm going to put that in place where it will go. With that little gap. Thing. So I'm just kind of going to make sure that the wires go in that gap. There's like a little channel that they can sit in. So, there we go. Okay. So I should be able to snug that in there tight now. So this, I don't think will go anywhere. Do the same thing here. Just going to set this back. And then run it through that gap. Pull it in the middle. And we should be able to, in theory, if I get this in that little channel, we should be able to have almost. That's good. Might be easier from underneath here to pull it tight. Yeah. So then, in theory, pop that in. Okay, so that shouldn't be going anywhere. Okay. And with the light bar, now I'm going to want to push it in here once it's nice. Just double check some stuff. Okay, so that's happy with that. So then what I'm going to do is roll the tape here. Use this just for a minute. Oops. Pause the video. Okay, so now we're going to tighten the 8mm bolt back up. I should have used an extension on this, but I didn't. Okay, that's good, tight enough. So then what we want to do is, since we took the end off it, we're just connected to that in here. So then this guy goes right in here. Is that the right way or that way? It's hard to tell. That way. And then the light bar goes into this one here. And then this guy Wait, what's going on here? I'm missing something. Okay, and then the cord that you took off that originally had the piece, I think it's that one, yeah, that had this little attachment that we took off. You're gonna go white to white, black to black, and then I guess what we'll then do, since that's there, is let's reach in here, let's run this through here, so it's the less that's dangling down, the better. And we'll again go through here, and then we'll do the same thing, white to white, black to black. And white to white, there's so black to black. Oh wait, no, I got this, the wrong one. Oops, give me a second. I wasn't. Okay, so I had to disconnect that because I wasn't paying attention and it's dark, and I was hooking up the right to the left side instead of the right side. And I just happened to notice it on the tags, they say right. You're actually supposed to pay attention to those. I was not. And so I had to just disconnect it. And then what we'll do after this, before we tidy up all the cables, so everything's connected now, and we got some wires hanging down, is we are going to mount the light bar in a second here, since everything's good and secure, and pull the tape back. And I'm going to use my adhesive promoter and wipe this top here, and then we're going to stick the light bar, and then we'll test everything out. Okay, so I did have something hooked up wrong. So basically this side, this long ass wire goes from the left to the left, and the right one goes from the right to the right. So you're gonna have to, I'm gonna have to run them both. There's no way in hell, I can see why everybody just zip tied it to this now, because there's no way you can get this wire and this one through that. I can tell, I'm not even gonna try. So I guess I'll have to, I will, however, try to run it out here. Should just be able to pull that back, reach in here. It's not the first time I've done this. Let's see here, where is it? Yeah, it's right, I don't even know if I'll be able to do that. The hole for it's right here. I won't put the reach through there, so, yeah, normally you run it right through that hole and in through there. That's super annoying. I really didn't want to just run it underneath the gasket, but I guess that's just what I'm gonna have to do. So I'm gonna have to disconnect this again and then reroute it underneath the gasket, and then up in here, and then zip tie it up and then through here. This pulls off fairly easily, and then you just can run the wire in through there and reach up and grab it. So I guess that's what I have to do. Okay, so I did what the other videos did, which is what I did not want to do, and that's run the wire up here and then zip tie it to here, run it in through here. So this wire, these wires are all fine. So what I'm gonna do is put the back on here again, and then you start with the back. Oh, we got one of these little guys here. I gotta put that back in and then pop the back. And then these guys are hard to get in. So what you have to do is similar to my last video, is you kind of gotta bend the pull the plastic back this way, I guess, and then push it in across. And then after that, I just gotta tuck this wire up in here, put everything back, and then we're done. Okay, so I've had this installed here now at least a month and a half, probably close to 2 months. And I just love it. I think it's a fantastic product. So a couple of things. One, when I make my videos, you know, first, hats off to those that make install videos and have perfect editing and everything just goes smoothly. It really takes a lot of time to do. and I just don't have that kind of time. And you know, because of that, my videos probably kind of suck, but I try to cover everything. But I also try to give you like a real life installation of what is actually happening. And sometimes I make mistakes in my videos, but I don't edit them out just because I want to show you guys what is exactly involved in the process. And so, for example, in this video, I screwed up big time at one point. It wasn't a big setback or anything. It was just kind of one of those like, are you serious? I made this stupid mistake. So the mistake I made was, in the video, I attached the tail light, this part here, I ran it across the gasket to this one. And then I had also wired the top trunk one here to this one and the light bar to those, thinking, okay, that probably is good, which was completely wrong, and it wasn't working. The trunk lights weren't working. What you actually need to do, let's just open it up, is so what you're supposed to do is wire it from here, run it along the gasket, up into here, and across to here. So basically left to left, right to right. And the light bar gets connected to both the trunk ones. And I don't know how I made that mistake of not doing that, but anyway, I kept it in the video because it still shows how you wire everything. So the one thing I would say is just ignore the part where I wire this one to this one, and just, you'll still see the steps of how to run the wires in through the trunk and whatnot. Just bear that in mind. Anyway, it wasn't that big of a deal. It just kind of was one of those foolish things where I kind of felt dumb. But again, I left it in because in my videos, sometimes I make mistakes because I'm human. So anyway, another thing I wanted to mention with the light bar, there's adhesive on it where you have to, you know, push on it. The adhesive is really not very good at all. In general, I don't think 3M makes very good adhesive. It just does not stick long term for most products. So what I ended up actually doing, and you can't, is I actually got some black caulking, and I caulked along here, and honestly, I got it pretty perfect. That's one thing I'm actually pretty good at, is applying caulkings. So the way to do it, of course, is you would want to put, you know, masking tape on the actual light bar, nice and flush to the edge, and then masking tape on the car as well, flush as well, and then you can just run your black caulking across it, and then you can use your finger or a little corner of like some type of card to just smooth it in perfectly, and then right away take off the masking tape and it'll be perfect. Let it dry, and it's not going anywhere, because what I found, yeah, like I can shake that, it is not moving, is with the adhesive, after only a couple days, the light bar was falling off. And there's one time it fell off. Well, I mean, it's going to hang by the wires here, so it's just hanging down to the point where it was actually covering up my camera a little bit when I would put it in reverse. So I had to disconnect things, put new adhesive on it, use a heat gun, and I put tons of adhesive, reapplied it, and thought I was good to go. And again, for 4 days maybe instead of 2, it was coming off again, and I just found that concerning. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to put some caulking on it. That'll definitely hold it, and it won't damage the paint because it'll just come off if you need it to. But also because the winter here, if snow gets in that crack or water and it freezes, it's going to pull it right off. So I highly recommend doing that, especially if you're in a colder climate like we are here. And I've had no problems since I did that, and it looks great. You can't tell. So I'm pretty happy with that. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and keep watching them, because I got a couple more that are coming out really soon with some cool stuff that I'm hoping to install. And again, they're kind of like raw videos where I'm not going to do a ton of edits. The most I do when I'm doing a video is sometimes I'll pause the camera for a bit because either I need to take a break or whatever, but then I'll just turn it back on. And if I make a mistake, I usually own up to that in the video and be like, oh, I screwed this up, which I've done in a couple of my videos. But you know, it's just the way I do things, and in no way are my videos nearly as good or well produced as other people's. So again, lots of credit to them. Some of their videos are so smooth and perfect. I just don't have the time to do it. Like, you know, I make no money off making these videos, and that's not why I'm doing this. I'm just doing this for fun. It's a great hobby of mine. I pay for all my products that come to me, and I'm just going to keep going because it's a fun hobby, and hopefully it helps people that want to install things too, knowing that you can do this. It's really not that hard. You just have to have some patience, and I try to cover every single step. And that's another thing about not doing edits like some people do, and I don't want to knock them because their videos are so much cleaner and crisper than mine. But a lot of these guys miss important things in their videos. They just skip it, like as if it's not a big deal. And then when you get to that part, you're like, oh, wait, this video didn't explain this. And it could be something sometimes very challenging. But I try not to skip anything. Every single step I'm trying to hit up. So I'm not going to be like that, because that kind of stuff drives me insane when you're watching a tutorial and like something critical is just left out because somebody wants to make a video shorter, or I'm not sure. But these make my videos longer, but I don't care. It's just the way it is. So anyway, guys, till next time, thanks.